Welcome back, guys, to another video brought to you by your one and only Literary Pharaoh. Again, look at my channel. Look at my recent lectures that I've done. If you come on my channel, you'll see the lecture that I did on Tiamat, the goddess, the primordial goddess, the primordial queen. And you'll see that. You'll see other lectures. You'll see a lecture that I did on the series on Netflix called Supercell. It's a series that came out about a year ago. I think they are supposed to be coming out with a part 2, but I did some deeper digging and unveiled some of the racial undertones in terms of our genetic makeup as it's linked to our high degree of melanin. I talked about that. You could look at that and see what you think about that. If I'm off base, or if there's some validity in what I'm actually trying to unveil to you guys. But I think you guys should look at that and see. Today I'm on the way to work this morning, and I've always done intermittent fasting, but I understand as I'm getting older that you need to try different things. So because I'm getting older, I stopped eating meat about, we're in 2025 now. Trying to think, when did I start? When did I stop eating meat? I think around 2019, I believe. I can't really remember when I started, but it's been some years that I stopped eating meat. I would only indulge in consuming meat on Thanksgiving. I would only do that because it just felt weird. My whole family's there, everyone's eating, and then I'm not. So I would eat meat on Thanksgiving. And I've been doing some research, and you understand how it is when you're on YouTube, but whenever you're on any type of social media engine, everything is linked to algorithms, and it's linked to how often you search a particular topic, and whatever particular topic that you search or that you like or that you spend more time watching, you tend to get feeds, or you tend to get content that's related to the things that you're actually spending your time watching. So I'm big into diet and fitness. You understand that. I've always been big into that, and I tell you guys that all the time about me waking up in the morning, running and eating, watching what I eat, and being disciplined in that regard. One thing that I've noticed is that through nominal research, and I say nominal, it's not like I'm digging into research, it's just I hear these things. You hear, there are people on YouTube, the different doctors on YouTube. Dr. Berg is one. There's another doctor, I think his name is Dr. Hendrickson, I believe. There are other doctors too that I listen to on YouTube, and I'm always listening to different doctors because you just don't want to just limit yourself to one person, because you may hear a different perspective, and the ultimate decision lies within the host. You're the one that's in charge of your body, so you're the one that's going to make the ultimate decision in which direction you want to go to. With me, I'm more inclined to listen to different perspectives and then make my own decision based upon the data or the content that I've collected. So as I'm getting older, I'm going to be 45 this year in November. I'm going to turn 45, and I wanted to make sure that as I'm getting older, that because when you're younger, you can get away with eating quote unquote bad. You can get away with eating the junk foods, but it does catch up with you as your metabolism slows up. And it's not that your metabolism slows up, it's that you slow up your metabolism because all the younger years of horrible eating. And then it gets to a point where your body's like, look, I can't take this anymore. Then you start to see the impact of all the bad decisions that you're making in terms of the types of food that you're consuming. With me, being that I'm getting closer to 45 years old, I understand that that's what they say. They say that your testosterone levels drop. I think my testosterone levels are fine because of the way I eat. But I also understand that with me not eating meat, I'm not getting the full protein, the full protein gamut that I'm supposed to get. So I can eat nuts. I can get proteins from non-meat items, but amino acids are not in non-meat items. So in order for me to get my amino acids, I have to incorporate meat. And the reason why I'm big on the amino acids is because as I'm starting to get older, you start to lose a little bit more muscle mass. Now, I still have muscle striations. I'm not a spaghetti at all. I'm not a bodybuilder at all either. But if you look at my physique, you can tell that I work out. I'm not a skinny guy, but I'm not a muscle head either. I want it that way. That's by design. That's not because I can't get the muscle. I can. But I understand that if I want to pack on a little bit more lean muscle and actually see the benefits from my workout and actually increase my muscular striations. When I say muscular striations, I just mean your curvature, like the way your muscles look on your body. All right. The balance of your body from torso to below your torso. Striations mean how you look in terms of the aesthetic of it, right? So I understand that as I'm getting older, it's going to be harder to put on muscle. So I need to incorporate more meat. So lately, as of about 2 weeks ago, I've been eating more meat, but not in a gluttonous way when everything I eat is meat. No. On the weekends, I've been making something called my high protein pizza. I do it with ground turkey and eggs and put a little bit of Parmesan cheese to make it stick. What else do I put in there? Black pepper, some salt, some garlic powder, oregano. I mix it all up. Spread it on a baking pan, put it in the oven for about 25 minutes. All right, let it bake, bring it out, let it sit for about 5 minutes, put my pizza sauce on there, and then I put all the vegetables that I want to put on the pizza. So it's a mixture of vegetables and meat. And I'm doing this because being a strict vegan, I wouldn't even call myself a strict vegan. I literally just didn't eat meat. I would still eat things with dairy in it. Like sometimes I would still eat cheese. When I say eat cheese, I would eat something with cheese on it. So I would make my vegan pizza with cauliflower crust, and you would see that I would have cheese on the pizza. Cheese is, and I'm not talking about the kind of cheese you get that says non-dairy. I would get regular cheese. So I was not a strict vegan by that regard. Like everything I eat cannot be animal products. Sometimes I'm sure that I would eat something that had a little bit of animal product in it. But in terms of like just eating meat, no, I wasn't eating meat at all. So what I'm going to start doing now is incorporating meat in my daily regimen. Everything is about complete balance and you knowing your body. I'm not eliminating one and then substituting one for another. So in other words, I'm not saying that I'm going to start incorporating meat and start eating vegetables. That's not it. I'm still going to be eating my vegetables. I'm still going to be consuming a high dosage of plant-based products. The only difference is that I'm incorporating a little bit more meat in my diet. And for the reason that I just stated earlier is because I work out a lot. I'm lifting, I'm running, I'm jumping, I'm doing things. I need the amino acids as I'm getting older. Maybe if I was younger, I can get away with it. And so then along with that, you also know that I do intermittent fasting. So when I wake up, I don't eat anything. Like I don't eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, my first meal or whatever, the first time I actually put something in my stomach is when I get home. And most of my diet is based on snacking, like nuts, watermelons, grapes. I'm not really a big meal eater. I'm not eating full course meals all the time. Now during the weekends, I eat bigger. Like this weekend, my wife cooked, she made me some baked chicken and she stuffed it with mushrooms and spinach and some cheese. Oh my God, it was so delicious. Like on the weekends, I have a little bit more time to prep food. Sometimes my wife will make it, sometimes I'll make it. We get ideas, we'll look at Pinterest, we'll look at some ideas of some certain recipes, and we get together and we try to do the best we can. And she's done that. She's also, this is not meat though, a couple of weeks back, she made some baked potatoes for me and stuffed it with mushrooms and cheese. So I'm big on mushrooms because mushrooms gives the texture of meat to me. All right. So when I say I'm starting to eat meat now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be very intentional with eating meat every time I eat. That's not the point. The point is I'm just adding a little bit more meat in my diet. That's all. I'm not completely eliminating meat at all. Eliminating meat, and I'm not completely eliminating vegetables either. I'm gonna just have the mixture of two. But if you want to break it down in terms of percentages, I would say it's still gonna be about 70%, 65, 70% plant-based products, and then the rest 30%, 25% meat. You know, I'm not trying to, overwhelm my digestive system with meat like that, because it's been a while that I was a big meat consumer, because coming from Nigeria, everything we ate had meat in it. Goat meat, everything had meat in it, especially that Nigerians love their goat meat. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And so on top of that, with the intermittent fasting, I wake up, I don't eat. The first time I eat is when I get home. So usually, let's say I ate at let's say the last time I ate was at 6:30 in the evening. Let's say 7, just to make it a even number in terms of the time. I don't want to do 7:30 or 6:30 or 6:45. Let's just say 7 o'clock, right? So let's say the last time I ate was 7 o'clock, and I end up going to bed around 10. So right there, that's 3 hours of fasting. When you're not eating, you're fasting. When you eat breakfast, you're breaking your fast. That's why when the first meal you eat in the morning is called breakfast, because you're breaking your fast. All right, breakfast doesn't mean something that you have to eat in the morning. If the first time I eat is at 6 p.m. or at 7 p.m., that's my break fast. I've broken my fast. It's that simple. Don't let the language and the terminology fool you to think that breakfast is supposed to be in the morning, because that's what the society has done to indoctrinate us in this horrible, eating construction that they've built for us, because it's literally meant to make us sicker. The more you eat, the more your body has to overproduce enzymes to synthesize the foods. It actually increases oxidative stress. You need to put your body in survival mode to elevate your ketones. Elevating your ketones allows your brain to operate at its highest level. So when your brain is pulling from ketones from your body, that's why the ketogenic diet has been such a success for people, because it robs you of the carbs, it robs you of the bad saturated fats, and it puts your body in a mode where your cells are not pulling from just protein, So anyway, so let's say I eat at 7 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock I go to bed. That's 3 hours of fasting. It's never wise to eat and then go straight to bed. You want to move around a little bit after you eat. As a matter of fact, I say 7 o'clock, but I don't eat at 7. I eat earlier than that. All right, because if I go to bed around 9:30 or 10, ideally I like to eat and then go to bed perhaps 3 to 4 hours later. I don't like to eat and go to bed an hour after I ate. That's not the best practice. The best practice is to give your body a couple of hours, at best 3 to 4 hours after you've ate your last meal. So let's say I ate my last meal at 7 and I go to bed at 10. That's 3 hours of fasting. And let's say I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I ate at 7 o'clock, I went to bed at 10, and I wake up at 7. Guess what? I have fasted for 7 hours. Why? Because my last meal was at 7 a.m. I mean, sorry, my last meal was at 7 p.m. and I'm waking up at 7 a.m. So when I wake up, that's 12 hours around the clock that I have not eaten. That's good. So that's 12 hours. I wake up, brush my teeth, take a shower, get dressed, get ready for work. I go to work. I come back at home, let's say around 4 o'clock, right? Right there, that's about 21. If I have my math correct, hold on, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, that's about 21 hours of fasting already. Now my body is in survival mode. Your body being in survival mode, or your brain being in survival mode, is not necessarily a bad thing, because when your body is in survival mode, it actually operates at its optimal capacity. In other words, it means that you're functioning at a higher level when your body is in survival mode. Because there's nothing for your body to try to break down. Everything is just going to the brain, and you're actually more alert that way. If you look at other species other than the human species, other animals, even when you're pets, how many times do they eat a day? Once. If you have a dog or a cat, you're not feeding your dog or cat breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, supper, or breakfast, snack in between, lunch, snack in between, then have your dinner. Like, no one does that shit. Like, we're eating ourselves to death. And the food industry is making millions of dollars off of our stupidity. We're not supposed to be eating that much. That's just common sense. But because we're so stressed and we've become emotional eaters, and we are also addicted to the chemicals that they put inside these foods deliberately, it's very hard to get yourself off the junk food. So a lot of the times when we're hungry, it's just a convolution or a mixture or a disunity between the leptin and the ghrelin hormone, because both hormones are the ones that communicate with one another to tell you if I'm hungry or if I'm satiated. And when you have a bad relationship between those two hormones, it's all mixed up. So you never really know when you're satiated. You'll think you're hungry, but you actually should be satiated. But the reason why you're not satiated, because the foods that you're eating are empty in terms of nutritional density. You're eating empty caloric foods. They have the calories in them, but they lack the nutritional density that your cells need. And if your cells are missing the nutrients that they need, you're still going to be starving for nutrients. So it's not about eating till your stomach is full. It's about eating till your cells are satiated. And when your cells are satiated, it sends synaptic responses to the brain to say, okay, cut it off. That's where the leptin and the ghrelin hormone work in harmony. All right, I think the leptin hormone is a hunger hormone, and the ghrelin hormone is the hunger hormone, and the leptin hormone is the hormone that says, okay, stop, we're done. Okay, and a lot of the foods that we eat are riddled with sugar, and sugar is a component that causes cravings and addictions, and so it's very hard for us as a nation, as a society, to eat properly, because we've been trained that way since we were little, to eat horribly. It takes actually a person to wake up and make the decision to be a little bit more disciplined to eat better. So again, that'll be 21. Going back to my fasting, I know I'm all over the place. I'm sorry about that. Just try to stay with me. So that's 21 hours of fasting. So let's say I get home and I eat at 4:30, or let's say I eat at 5. That's 22 hours of fasting. Or let's say I ate at 6 p.m. Now it's 23 hours of fasting. Let's say I eat back again. I wait to 7 o'clock at night to eat again. That's 24 hours of fasting. So that means that I basically have not eaten for 24 hours, and the first time I eat is in 24 hours. Okay, let's say I eat at 5. That's 22 hours of fasting. So that means that I give myself a 2-hour window in a 24-hour day to eat. So you have to work out everything within a 24-hour window. Now that's the more extreme version. Most people start with the 18-hour fast and give themselves 6 hours to eat. That's how I started off. But my body is so used to working like this that going 18 hours without eating is not a big deal, because people think, oh my God, 18 hours, but you're not even awake for the whole 18 hours. You got to count the times you sleep as well. And people don't factor that in. The times that you're sleeping or napping, that's fasting. We need to eat less, people, and be more active. We need to eat less and sleep more, because sleeping is when your body heals. Sleeping is when your body regenerates itself. Sleeping is what increases cellular death, or AKA called cellular apoptosis. This is when your cells, it's called cell death. Cell death is good because it forces your body to regenerate new cells. You end up looking a little bit younger. Oxidative stress is decreased, okay, because you want to think about it. When you have a banana that's sitting out, and the banana starts to get ripe, that's good. It starts off green and it gets yellow, then it starts to get black. When the banana gets black, it's because it's going through something called the oxidation process, because the oxygen is making it rotten, right? Well, that's what happens to the body, is that we have foods that are concocted in laboratories by chemists intentionally. This is not by accident, folks. This is all to make money, because if they can get you addicted to certain foods or make you eat certain foods to get you sick, then you're going right back to the pharmaceutical industry. So the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry are working in tandem. That's not a conspiracy. That's actually a reality. You may call me a conspiracy theorist, and that's okay, but they work in tandem, because the foods are made to make you addicted, and they're made to make you sick, and they're made to kill you. But then as you get sick, where are you going to go to? You're going to lean right back to the medical and the pharmaceutical industry. So everything's interconnected. Even the cancer that people are saying that we're going to wage war against cancer. Well, waging war against cancer is to basically change the culture, change how we eat, change how we live. That's where the cancer resides. Cancer resides in the chemicals that we eat, folks. It's not a mystery. Cancer is not some mysterious disease that just comes upon people and it just randomly picks people. It doesn't randomly pick anybody. Cancer is induced by lifestyle. Cancer is induced by the foods we eat. Cancer is induced by culture. It's a cultural disease. Okay, so I encourage you guys to do that more. Now, one thing I've started to do now, as I'm getting older, because you need to change certain things. You can't do the same thing forever. I would say every 5 to 10 years, change up what you're doing, switch it up, because it's good for the body to switch. Even when you work out, don't do the same workouts all the time, because your body gets used to it. Then your results start to plateau. So stop doing a particular exercise for a while and go back to it. You'll feel the soreness. Your muscles will start to tear. All right, your muscles will start to tear. Your muscles will start to grow, because when your muscles tear, they need to rebuild it. It needs to rebuild itself, and in the process of rebuilding itself, that's how you get muscle growth. But if you continue to work the same muscle, it doesn't have the capacity to get torn because it's already built. So sometimes if you've built a particular muscle, get off of it. Unless you're trying to bulk up, then you need to add more weights to tear the muscle again. So you got to look at the body like a lump of clay, and you're sculpting it. You don't want to stay on the same side too much and over sculpt one side, or over sculpt one particular body part. Or you want to do different types of exercise to hit different muscle groups in your body differently. All right, you may do dumbbell press, then you may mix it up, do bench press with the bar. Now you're still working the same muscle, you're still working your pecs, but you're doing it in a different way, right? At one point you're using dumbbells, and the other one you're using the bar, working the same muscle, but you're working it differently. That keeps your muscles guessing, and that actually allows you to see bigger gains when you do your workouts that way. What else did I want to say? Yeah, so one thing I've added, all right, is that, so let's say, so the last time, today is Tuesday, the last time I ate was Sunday at 7 p.m. Real, this is real. This is not a hypothetical. This is real. I ate at 7 p.m. my high protein pizza, because I'm trying to increase my protein intake, not just regular protein intake, but protein intake with amino acids, and it comes from meats and fishes. And so I ate that, right? I still have leftovers. I didn't eat the whole tray. My daughter even had some, so I have like 2 little squares left over. So that was the last time I ate at 7. So that was on Sunday. So I wake up at 7 in the morning. No, I didn't wake up at 7 in the morning. I woke up at 3:10 in the morning to go for my run. So at that point, I've already done, let's do the math, 8 o'clock. The last time I ate was at 7. So you have 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So right there, I've already fasted for 8 hours. I woke up at 3:10, brushed my teeth, stretched a little bit, put on my workout gear, because me and my wife would go for runs early in the morning. We actually run about 2 miles to the gym, because we have a farm in our neighborhood. We run to the farm and we run back to the gym. We work out in the gym, then we run back home. So we did that on Monday. So by the time I got home, it was about 5:15. So from 3, you got to think about it. I wake up at 3:10. By the time we get dressed, brush our teeth, we're leaving the house around, because my wife gets up a little bit earlier than me. If it was just me by myself, I'll be out the door a little bit faster, but I had to wait on her because she's getting ready. She kind of wakes up a little bit later than I do. So by the time we actually hit the pavement and start running in the neighborhood, it's really around 3:50 or 3:45, 3:40, between 3:45 a.m. and 3:50, right? So we start running. From then we run. It takes us about almost 30 minutes. I complete my run in about 22 minutes. My wife completes it a little bit later because I leave her behind. But it's okay. She likes that. It makes her, she tells me, she says, I know you leave me, but I'm trying to catch up to you, but it's okay. Because my pace is a little bit quicker. My endurance is a little bit better than hers. So anyway, I run to the farm in our neighborhood, because we have a neighborhood farm. I run to the farm and I run back to the gym. And if you calculate that, it's about a mile. It's almost 2 miles. And so we go to the gym, we work out. By the time we finish working out and run back home from the gym, we get home around 5:10, 5:15ish, around that time. Okay? So right then, that's 22 hours of fasting. No, I'm sorry. That's not 22 hours of fasting. That's 10 hours of fasting. Because remember, I ate my last meal on Sunday at 7 p.m. I woke up at 3-something a.m. That's 8 hours of fasting, right? And then it's 5-something. I get back home. That's 10 hours of fasting. I go to work, get dressed, go to work. All day I come home yesterday, I still haven't eaten anything. So if you do the math, I'm not the greatest at math. So my last meal was at 7 p.m. on Sunday. 7 p.m. on Monday will make 24 hours because there's 24 hours in a day. Okay? So last night at 7 p.m., that made 24 hours of fasting, but I still haven't eaten. I went to bed last night with no food, and I slept. That's 24 hours. Now it's 7-something in the morning. So now I've fasted for hold on. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. is 12 hours, right? And then 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. is 12 hours. And when I got back home yesterday, 7 p.m. again, that's 36 hours. Hold on, 12:24. Yeah, that's 36 hours. And then right now, it's 7:34 a.m. So that's, yeah, I'm doing my math correct. Is that 40-something hours of fasting? I'm horrible in math. I'm driving on the road right now. I'm holding my phone because my little phone holder got broke. So right now I'm driving with one hand on the steering wheel and I'm holding my phone. But I think, if I'm correct, I think that's what it is. I think it's 7 a.m. Okay, so Sunday I ate my last meal and in a comment, write something. Help me out here. 7 a.m. I could do it. I'm just concentrating on the road and trying to think at the same time. So 7 p.m. was the last time I ate on Sunday. I woke up, so let's say 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. when I wake up, that's 12 hours. I go to 12 hours. So I go to work, come back, that's another 12 hours, that's 24. So yeah, okay, I've been fasting for 36 hours. I've been fasting for 36 hours because it's 7:35 right now. So by the time I get home and eat again, it's gonna be over 40-something hours of fasting. Now you can say, oh, that's not healthy. It's very healthy because I ate heavy on Sunday. When I say ate heavy, I mean I ate enough where I was like borderline almost gluttonous. But I did that intentionally because I knew that I needed to eat a lot because I knew what I was going to go into. And even the next day when I woke up, I did not even, even when I saw food, I was repulsed by it. I'm like, I don't want to eat. All right? I was a little bit bloated because of the cheese and stuff. You guys know what cheese does to the stomach, especially for people with high melanin content. If you're lactose intolerant, you already know what happens when you do that. So right now, my stomach feels good. It feels flat. It feels tight. My muscular striations are coming out more because a lot of the times when you eat a lot, your stomach kind of protrudes. You never want to eat so much where your stomach extends itself. And I made an error. I should not have eaten as much as I did on Sunday. So, but if I ever do eat like that, this is what I end up doing to myself. I end up going on a long fast. You're probably asking but damn, you don't look like you're tired. I'm not tired. I'm not weak. I'm focused. I don't drink coffee. I didn't drink anything. nothing. And I'm making this video. So it could be done. It's just that you have to work your way up to that. I've been doing this intermittent fasting for years. I've been eating like this for probably 6-7 years, where I don't eat breakfast and the first meal I eat is when I get home. So I've always been doing 19-20 hour fasts anyway. So just to push it to this is something new for me. But I've been doing this occasionally, and my body is starting to get used to this. Because the first time I did this over 36-hour fast, close to 40-something hour fast, it was a struggle. I was like, oh my God, because I wasn't used to going that long, especially being a creature of habit, as we all are as human beings. Usually when I get off work, I'm happy that I've gotten off work. I'm driving home. I get the happy hormones flowing, and the first thing I'm thinking about is putting something in my stomach. And it's not really sugary foods. It's usually, again, I'm very simple: almonds, cashews, pecans, what do you call it? Pumpkin seeds, walnuts. I actually mix them all up in a bowl, and I have a bowl of grapes, and I love to do that. Why? Because I'm getting the sweetness of the grapes, but I'm getting the texture of the nuts. I eat them together. I mean, that's just my thing. You don't have to eat that way, but that's my like go-to snack. And I can eat that and be satiated because almonds are nutritionally dense. They're high with fiber. They're gonna make you feel full. Okay, they're gonna make you feel full. The thing is, you guys have to start eating foods that are rich in fiber and rich in nutritional content, so you don't have to overeat. Okay, you don't have to overeat. That's why it's good to eat meats with vegetables and eat meats with plant-based proteins, because a lot of the times the plant-based proteins are going to be high in fiber, whereas meat doesn't have fiber. Meat is usually just high in protein. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. So today I'm going to go to work. By the time I get home, because I'm working with a staff member later this afternoon, so I probably won't be getting home till about almost 5-ish, almost 6. So that'll be almost 48 hours of fasting, folks. Because they're 24 hours in a day. The last time I ate was at 7 p.m. on Sunday. By the time I eat my first thing today, which is a Tuesday, yeah. Because right now it's on 36 hours with 7 o'clock. So let's say I eat again at 7 p.m. That'll be 48 hours of fasting. That's a good thing. You look online about the benefits about people who are trying to recalibrate their body. Some people go on 5-day fast. I'm not there yet. I'm not trying to go that far. The reason why I'm not there yet is because I do too much. I have 3 kids that I have to run and keep up with. I go working out every other day. And it's not just a simple workout. It's not like I just walk to the gym and just do a couple of rounds of weights and I walk home or I drive home. Me and my wife are literally running on concrete for damn near 3 miles. Almost 2 miles to the gym that we run back. If you total it up, the mileage that we run, it's 3 miles. But we're running after lifting, and we're lifting after running. Do you know how, that's taxing on the body? But that's a good stress. That's a good stress. It's not a negative thing. You have good stressors and you have bad stressors. I'm releasing endorphins. That's those happy feeling hormones that you get when you work out. That's why a lot of people who work out, they have this hypeness to them. They have this character trait of always being optimistic and being upbeat. And that's the way I am. Positive mindset, upbeat, because I tell people all the time, the hardest part of my day is done when I'm done with my morning workout. Of course, today's Tuesday. I don't work out today. My workouts are Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. By the time I get to work, people are complaining and, they're bitching about certain things at work. I'm looking around the hardest part of my day is done. Work is just a place for me to just do my stuff. I'm actually very relaxed at work. Very easygoing, because the good stresses that I've gotten that decreases cortisol, because you don't want to increase cortisol. Bad stress increases cortisol, which causes mental fog, hypertension, high blood pressure, heart disease. It causes all sorts of stuff, fatigue. I'm having the good stressors that's overwhelming the bad stressors. So there's nothing at work that stresses me to the point in a negative way that's going to impact me health-wise. It can't, because my consistency in increasing the good stresses in my body due to me working out consistently is too strong that my body won't even allow me to get to that level of being stressed where cortisol levels increase. That's why I see a lot of men with belly fat. They're stressed out at work, and what they do, they drink their Monster drinks. They stop at Starbucks and drink those high sugary drinks thinking that this is cool. They drink their coffee, but nothing wrong with coffee, but they add the creamer and the extra sugar, and people wonder why they're fat. I mean, that's why, especially Texas, we're the fattest state in the country. And if you're in another state, don't try to come to Texas and think that you're gonna find, attractive women. You're not. You're gonna find a bunch of fat women. And I have to be blunt. That's what it is. If you're not looking for young 20-something-year-olds, if you're looking if you're an older man like me, middle-aged man like me, and you're looking for a woman around my age, or even a little bit younger, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. And then people will say you're fat shaming or you're shallow. No, I'm not shallow. I'm realistic. The fatness is just an indictment of an undisciplined life or ignorance. You say, why do you say that, Literary Pharaoh? Why do you say undisciplined life? Well, if you're undisciplined, you're going to eat any and everything. You're going to be a mood eater. In other words, whatever you feel like eating, you eat, and you think it's fine. You're not going to have the discipline to get up and work out because that's too hard to do. Because your body is used to just being stagnant. And you're used to just using food as a coping mechanism to deal with your stress. So the more your stress levels increase in cortisol is going to push you to eat the sugary food. So everything is interconnected, and the psychology behind the chemistry of the concoction of these foods are done deliberately because people understand the human proclivity. They understand that human beings are wired as emotional beings. So if I could tap into if I can hack your emotion, stress you out enough, but then supply a remedy, a Trojan horse that makes you feel good in your moment of stress, but ultimately gives you a bad result, I'm going to do that. So a lot of people, when they're stressed, they love sugary foods. They crave the sugar, and they eat that. They crave the mood foods, the high processed meats, the high processed foods. I try to stay away from things in boxes. If I'm not cooking it on my stove, if it's not like nuts, something that comes from the earth, I rarely eat it. I'm not saying rarely. You know what? I'm going to say never. I hate to use the word never because I'm sure no one's perfect, but as far as I can remember, I don't even touch processed foods. I can't even remember the last time I drank a freaking soda. Like, and that's just not to toot my own horn. This is let me know that's why I said it's riddled in ignorance and it's riddled in being undisciplined. If you're ignorant, you don't know any better, then I understand. But in the era that we live in, there's the information age that we live in. If you really are intentional about improving your diet, you're not going to go to a doctor because doctors have to make money. They're not going to tell you anything that's going to stop you from coming to them. They're going to give you the baseline stuff to do. Oh, exercise and eat this moderately. There's no such thing as taking poison moderately. No one says take arsenic moderately. It's okay. It won't kill you, but it will eventually. You can't tell people to eat processed foods moderately. You want to go to either extreme because when you're dealing with something that you're putting inside your body, you have to operate in the realm of extremes. Why? Because when you take in something that's negative, it's extreme because that negativity can actually kill you. You don't want to die. Death is extreme. Life is also extreme. You're talking about two opposite ends on the pendulum of this reality that we live in. So one end you have death and one end you have life. So I'm not going to sit there and take things that I know are going to incur death, but say, well, I'm doing it moderately because I enjoy it. I don't enjoy things that are going to make me die. I'm going to train my brain to enjoy the things that make me live. Even though the things that make me live initially may not taste as good as the things that are killing me, but at least I know that what I'm taking is giving me life. And over time, your palate, all right, your sensory palate, in terms of how you taste the foods will change. It's all about recalibrating your senses. If you're not used to eating vegetables and you start eating it, eventually vegetables become something that you crave. All right. But yeah, that's what I do. So I'm gonna break my fast today when I get home. But right now I'm not hungry. I struggled where I did feel the fatigue and the like, oh my God, I really want to eat, is because my wife is making food in the kitchen and it's food around me. Because my kids have to eat, right? They don't eat the way I do. They're kids. So the only people that can eat a lot during the day are children, because their brains are still developing. They're still growing. So they need to eat. But when you become a full-grown adult, you don't need to eat that much. You actually need to eat less. The older you get, the less you need to start eating. Okay, but anyway, around 5 something yesterday is when I started to feel the urge to get something to eat. But when it got dark, it's funny how light, photosynthesis, and radiation from the sun works with the human body. And I always tell people to eat with the sun. They say, what do you mean by eat with the sun? Well, you really want to consume your last meal at sunset, all right? And you want to try your best to eat 2-3 hours after sunrise. So when I started doing this, when I started this fasting journey, I started eating with the sun. So what I would do is I would not eat my last meal when it was dark. I would eat my last meal when the sun has set, all right? And then when I wake up in the morning, the sun hasn't risen yet. But let's say the sun starts to rise around 9ish or 10. I'm not going to eat till afternoon, literally after 12, sometimes after 1. You want to give your body a break, folks. I don't know why you guys get this idea to wake up and stuff your belly with food. That's the dumbest thing you can do. You got to give your body a chance to metabolize the food that you ate previously. Metabolize completely. Because a lot of the times we're overstressing our bodies because our body hasn't fully metabolized the food from yesterday. And then now we're going to put in something new. Now your body has to double work. When your body is double working and overproducing enzymes, it's called over-synthesization. When your body's over-synthesizing food, over-synthesizing to break down the foods with enzymes that it produces, well, it's taken from somewhere. It's taken from you. Therefore, oxidative stress increases. Those molecules don't move in pairs. You have an extra loose molecule that's by itself, which binds to you and sucks your life out of you, which is why you see people, they look like they're older, they age faster than other people. And I'm not here to say that, oh, I look young. I don't know what I look like. I don't go around telling people, oh, I'm 40 something, look how young I look. I've told people my age, they look at me like, you're what? You're 45? And they'll look at me close like, is this guy lying? I don't know what a 45-year-old is supposed to look like. I don't know. I don't compare myself to other people. And that's another thing. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just live your life, do the best you can. But I'm just telling you from what the responses that I get when I tell people my age, because there are other 45-year-old men that I'm around. They don't look like me. And something had nothing to do with my face. I'm talking about my whole posture, my whole physique, the way I move. I move like a college kid. And that's not because of something that I willed mentally. It's something that I've done. I've put it into action. I've made choices in my life to not let the industry kill me. We live in a death cult, folks. Everything around us is made to kill us. I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer or induce some, or you may think that I'm trying to induce a little bit of some sort of fear inside of you. No, I'm trying to wake you guys up to understand that we are. And I made videos about this before, and I'm going on a rant here. It's about 40-something minutes. I'm going to make this video short and not make it too long. But the point that I'm making is that just because something is supplied to you doesn't mean that you have to take it. You have a choice. Just like when you go into a store, you have a budget. You can't just buy anything you want. You got to buy according to what's in your bank account. You don't want to completely empty yourself out and be in the red. The body is the same way. You don't want to just consume anything that's provided to you. Just because it's laid out on the table doesn't mean that you have to take it. You don't have to take it. You can make a choice to say, nah, I'm good. I'm going to choose this. So it's simple. You either choose in life. Every day you wake up and every decision that you make, you're choosing. There are two things you're choosing from. There's no gray. I know America likes to dabble in the gray because that's how they get you. They like ambiguity. They love ambiguity. They love to be in the middle. I don't love to be in the middle. I love to be on the extreme because it gives me a clear path in which I need to take and what journey that I need to go on. So for instance, if you make the choice to eat bad foods, you're choosing death. It's that simple. You may say, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal. It is a big deal. Yeah, it's not killing you right there in the moment. When I say choosing death, I mean in the long run. See, the incorporation of time has robbed us of wisdom because we think, oh, we have time. Life is short. Enjoy. How are you enjoying by taking death? Just because you get temporary relief or a temporary fix, it's like people who use drugs, right? A person who injects themselves with heroin, yeah, you feel the high for that moment, but do you know the damage that you are bringing to your health in the long run? Do you understand the kind of path you're taking your body on an addictive path, but you don't have control over what you take? See, I've never been the kind of person that wanted to indulge in anything that takes over me, whether it's porn, whether it's alcohol, whether it's sports. I always try to make sure that nothing overwhelms me. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't watch sports. It doesn't mean that I've never watched porn before. I'll be a liar to tell you that if I say, oh, I've never watched it, I'm lying. There's no man in this world that's never watched a little bit of porn, okay? All I'm saying is that I never want to operate in anything that's going to take over my mind. So for instance, if I know that sugar cookies are my weakness, for an example, right? I'm not going to eat sugar cookies. Why? Because if I know I start to eat one, I'm going to want two. And if I take two, I'm going to take three. Then next you know, I'm overeating, making up for lost time. Same thing with people who are addicted to porn. If you know that porn has a high degree of they did the science on it, of how it impacts the neural pathways of the brain, and how it increases a false sense of dopamine inside the brain, and is also linked to depression. It is. So a lot of men could sit there for hours and just watch porn and jack off. I don't know how you guys do it, but that's sick. You're basically watching other men anyway. So if you know that, then why don't even watch it? That's the discipline part. You got to beat your body into submission. And when you beat your body into submission, your body starts to follow you. You don't follow the body. The body becomes a slave of your mind. And that's what I've done. That's why I can go on a 40-something hour fast. I'm not saying it's easy. I just told you yesterday at around 5 p.m. that I was struggling a little bit. But you know what? Nature took over. What do I mean by nature? Mother Nature. Mother Nature, the sun set. When the sun set and it starts to get darker, then I start to get sleepy. All right, I start to get tired. Guess what? I'm not thinking about food. Now I want to rest. So when I went to bed, I've had people say it's hard for me to go to sleep when I'm hungry. It was easy for me to go to sleep. I was very tired. You see that? Because I'm not eating high empty caloric foods. I'm not eating sugary foods. I'm not eating like foods that are empty with calories that don't have density. I work out. There's a healthy balance of serotonin and melatonin in my hormones, meaning that the serotonin is what keeps me up and the melatonin is what helps me sleep. But what keeps you up and gives you energy is what helps you sleep. Because if you don't have energy output, then you're going to have too much energy. You're not going to be able to sleep. That's why people tell you to get a lot of sun. Sun increases serotonin, but it also increases melatonin. It's weird because the sun gives you the energy, but it gives you the energy to get tired enough to sleep. So they work in tandem. They work in unison. Serotonin and melatonin are good hormones to have. Serotonin gives you the energy to stay awake during the day because it's working in conjunction with the sun's radiation. And then the melatonin, when sunset and the sun goes away and it gets dark, then you start to get sleepy. That's when you have to start turning off the lights in the house, winding yourself down, lay in your bed, and go to rest. And then when your body's in rest mode, when you're in deep REM sleep, that's when your cells are repairing itself. That's when your body is metabolizing the foods that you ate the previous night. That's when your body is healing itself. That's when your brain starts to work a little bit better. Your brain is restoring itself. And that's why you wake up mentally sharp, especially if you're not overeating. Okay? So that's my spiel, guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to be doing this 30-something, 40-something hour fast every weekend. It just depends on how I ate on the weekend. So if I eat heavy, I'm going to do it. If I don't eat heavy, then I'm going to just go back to my normal intermittent fasting. All right? And then I've noticed, too, one more thing before I go. I've noticed, too, like tomorrow, it's going to be tough. Well, no, it's not going to be tough because I'm going to end up eating when I get home today. But when I do this 40-something hour fast, I've done it before. When I wake up in the morning tomorrow, Wednesday, to run, for some reason, my running is better. I have more speed in my pace. I'm not as winded. I feel lighter on my feet. I actually lift heavier. It's weird, right? You would think that, oh my God, you didn't have food, you're going to be so weak. No. Remember, the body, you put your body in survival mode. So I end up performing better with my workouts. Therefore, reaping the benefits of my workout, and then eating right, reaping more benefits. So it's a win-win all the way around. So the ultimate goal is for health. The ancillary results are just the aesthetic of how you look. If you're working out just to look good, that's the wrong reason. It's not to look good, it's to be healthy. All right? I want you guys to think inwardly first, and then let the outward things take care of themselves. First, work out to be healthy, first of all. The results of looking good and looking sharp and all that other stuff, that's just a byproduct of you taking care of your internal. So whenever you take care of the internal, the external takes care of itself. You don't have to work hard to look good. Work hard to be healthy, and then everything else will work out for itself. You start to think better. You have a higher sense of confidence if you're a man. You're going to start doing things that are going to accentuate your look. You just start making better decisions because you're already making better decisions with what you put inside your body. You're already making better decisions and saying, you know what, today I'm going to plan to work out for 15 minutes today. Then raise it to 30 minutes. Then raise it to 45 minutes. Then if you're really good at it, then you can go for an hour. Whatever it is, set goals for yourself and meet those goals. And then to give yourself confidence so you can feel good that you can accomplish something. Set goals that are attainable. Don't go in this like, oh my God, I'm going to start working out 7 days out of the week. Don't do that, because you're not going to be able to keep that up, especially if you're a person that's never worked out. Don't do that. Just start by doing something. I don't care what you used to do back then. I hear all these soft stories. Yeah, I used to work out a lot. Then when I got married, okay, we get it. That's the past. I'm talking about today. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? And start slow to build yourself back up to what you used to be. If you were a person that used to once work out heavy and then you kind of slacked off and now you feel bad, now you want to try to get back to where you were. No, you're not going to just jump back to where you were. That's suicide. You're going to kill yourself and kill the incentive to even keep going, because a harsh reality is going to come from that. You're going to realize, oh my God, I can't do it. And you're going to want to quit. Start small. Humble yourself. The journey is beautiful, because when you start with humility and you finally do get back to where you were, you're going to enjoy the ride, because you understand that it took hard work and dedication to even get back to where you were. Okay? So that's my take. That's my spiel. Thank you guys for listening. Again, eat less. They call it intermittent fasting, but I hate to use labels, because it's become something that just try to eat once a day. Give yourself a small window to eat. And that's it. You don't need to eat 2, 3, 4 times a day. You don't need to snack throughout the day. Okay? And you'll see your skin start to look better. You'll see your energy levels go up. Your brain focus will go up. And a lot of other things will go up. All right? So take care. Peace. Until next time. Remember, your health is your wealth. Bye.